Hello my dear students, myself Amit Upadhyay and I'm back with your favorite subject English. So, as you know that we are going through a very interesting and very motivating chapter, True Heights, and in our last class we have gone through the adventurous journey of Michael Stone becoming an athlete and a pole vaulter, and it was the time when he was competing against a strong opponent in National Junior Olympics. So we have seen that how Michael Stone has learned to dream high from his mother, and at the same time he has learned how to make it work, how to make those dreams come true by working hard on them from his father. So that was the moment that he had to prove himself, and he had already crossed 3 rounds, but it was a tough competition for him. So let's catch up from the last paragraph we left behind in our last class, and let's get started. So what happened is Michael cleared the bar at 17 feet and 2 inches and 17 feet 4 inches. Again he showed no emotion. Constant preparation and determination were his vision. As he lay on his back and heard the crowd groan, he knew the other vaulter had missed his final jump. He knew it was the time for his final jump. Since the other vaulter has few misses, Michael needs to clear the vault to win. A miss would get him second place. Nothing to be ashamed of, but Michael has not allowed himself the thought of not winning the first prize. So now what is happening to Michael Stone? He has cleared the 2 vaults by 17 feet 2 inches and 17 feet 4 inches, and he lays down with no emotions, as his hard work and determination was his vision. So but he hears the public's crowd and he realizes that the other vaulter has missed his chance. So since the other vaulter has missed only few chances, therefore Michael has to clear the final round with more perseverance and with more focus, because if he loses it, if he fails to clear the round, then he would be receiving the second prize, which is not a shameful thing. At least he is a runner-up, but it will be putting his dreams will be shattered when he will be scoring the second position in that. So all he got to show to the people and to himself that what hard work and what the determination he has applied to come to this position, this was now the reward for his hard work. So now what happened? He rolled over and did his ritual of 3 finger tipped push-ups. So finger tipped means fingers touching the ground. So here what he does, he was laying the ground, but he stood up and he did 3 finger touch push-ups, and he found his pole, stood and stepped on the runway that led the most challenging event of his 17-year-old life. Now this was the final jump he had to make, and it will be creating an history in his life. The runway felt different this time. It startled him for a brief moment. Then it all hit him like a wet bale of hay. The bar was set at 9 inches higher than his personal best. That's only 1 inch off the national record. He thought. The intensity of the moment working, he became more tense. So now the bar was set 9 inches higher than his personal best. So what was his personal best? 17 feet 4 inches, and it was now set at 9 inches more, that is 17 feet 13 inches. He has to jump now, and this will create history and it will break the national record, which was just 1 inches less. So as the moment was coming nearer and nearer, the heat and the tension was obvious, because whenever we are about to do something which is life changing, it creates a new feeling inside our, and we become so tensed, our heartbeat starts raising. So the same thing was happening with Michael Stone. And then what happened? The intensity of the moment filled his mind with anxiety. He began shaking off the tension from his body. It wasn't working. He became more tense. Why is this happening to me now? He thought. He began to get nervous. Fear would be a more accurate description. What was he going to do? He had never experienced these feelings, then out of nowhere, and from deepest depths of his souls, he envisioned his mother. Why now? What was his mother doing in these thoughts at a time like this? It was simple. His mother always used to tell him whenever he felt tense and anxious and even scared to take a deep breath. Now this was the moment the Michael Stone was about to make his highest jump in his life. And in the earlier times also, he has created and he has broken many records, but such things did not happen. He never felt an anxiety, he never felt tensed. He always used to do all this very normally, but why this time it was happening to him? And suddenly the thought of his mother came to his mind, and he thought that why this time? Why my mother is appearing to me in my thoughts this time? So that was the moment when he needed her, and he remembers her sayings that whenever you feel tensed, whenever you are afraid of something, don't do anything, my son, just take deep breaths. Then you will feel more energized and the anxiety will be cared. So this was the moment when he had to take his final jump, and so he did. Along with his shaking, the tension from the legs, his legs were shaking, his body was sharing of fear that what is going to happen. The thoughts like, what if I fail? How the people will react if I won't be able to make it? So these kind of thoughts are very usual, when even if you people also might have faced this thing, my children, when suppose in any kind of program you have got into the finals, and now you have to face your opponent in front of the crowd of thousands people, and now you have the fear that if you lose, what will happen? So such kind of fear, such kind of stage fear also many people face. But those who have came over this minute difficulties, then they become successful and they create history. Their names will be written in the golden words in the history. So the same thing was happening with Michael Stone. Now, so he did, along with the shaking the tension from the legs, he gently laid his pole at his feet. He began to stretch out his arms and upper body. Now he was stretching and he was feeling a bit relaxed, and he started doing it. The light breeze that was once there was now gone. Whatever the light breeze was giving a soothing effect to him, now it was gone. It felt like there is no air to breathe over there, and the moment was heat. He could feel a trickle of cold sweat running down his back. He carefully picked his pole and felt his heart pounding. He was sure the crowd did too. The silence was deafening. When he heard the singing of some distant robins in flight, he knew it was his time to fly. Now, as the moment came, everyone became silent. Everyone was thinking, and at the same time, Michael Stone was also thinking that what is going to happen. And as soon as he heard the singing of some distant robin in flight, then he decided that now it's his time to fly. As he began sprinting down the runway, something felt wonderfully different yet familiar. The surface below him felt like the country road he used to dream about. The rocks and chunks of dirt, the vision of the golden wheat field seemed to fill his thoughts. Now he is going into the flashback. As he was running to take his final jump, he felt like how I used to run down the streets in my village, and how I used to look at the beautiful golden fields of wheat, and how I felt the feeling of the road, the grainy fields and the chunks of dirt. So all the things was coming back to back on his mind. When he took a deep breath, it happened. He began to fly. And the moment came and he jumped through the bar with his pole, and it happened. He has created the history. He has broken the international record of jumping there. And his takeoff was effortless. Michael Stone was flying just as in his childhood dreams. Only this time he knew he wasn't dreaming. This was real. Everything seemed to be moving in slow motion. The air around him was the purest and freshest he had ever sensed. Michael was soaring with the majesty of an eagle. So this was the moment when his 17 years old dream came true, and he was flying as he used to in his dreams. But this time this feeling was not just a feeling, it was a real thing he was facing in his life, and he was flying in the sky like an eagle, like the king of the sky. So this was the success story of Michael Stone. What happens next? It was either the eruption of people in the stands of or the thump of his landing that brought Michael back to the earth. But on his back, with that wonderful hot sun on his face, he could only envision the smile on his mother's face. He knew his dad was probably smiling too, even laughing. Bert would always do that when he got excited. Smile and then sort of giggle. What he didn't know was that his dad was hugging his wife and crying. He was crying harder than Mildred had ever seen before. She also knew he was crying the greatest tears of all, tears of pride. So, my children, whenever you do something great, something unique, something big in your life, then the person who becomes the most happy on earth on your achievements is nothing but your parents. So as the Michael Stone was feeling that the breeze around him is the freshest one, and so, and he was expecting that his mother was smiling, and he saw her smiling, and his father probably might be smiling at him, and maybe sometimes he might have broken into the giggles. But the real thing was, they were not at all laughing, they were not at all smiling, but his father was crying. His father was crying, and his tears were not at all stopping, because this was the tears of the proud. He felt proud of his son, to be father of a son who has created a history. They were proud parents of Michael Stone. So that is the thing that was happening. Michael was immediately swarmed with people hugging and congratulating him on the greatest accomplishment of his life. He later went on that day to clear 17 feet 6.5 inches, a national and international junior Olympics record. Now he has broken the record of 17 feet 6.5 inches. That was the national and international junior Olympics record. With all the media attention and heartfelt congratulations, Michael's life would never be the same. It wasn't just because he won the Junior National Olympics and set a world record, and wasn't because he had just increased his personal best by 9.5 inches. It was simply because Michael Stone was blind. Can you imagine a blind person doing pole vaulting? Such a great person Michael Stone was. That he took his blindness as a positivity, and he did not let this shortfall to come into the path of his success. And although he was blind, but he has shown that I am better than the people with 2 eyes and clear vision. He has seen the world, seen his passion with the eyes of his heart, with the eyes of his mind, and he was determined towards his goal. So that is why he has reached to his goal. So with this motivational story, and this story has been written by the David Nastor. Now, we will see the glossary of the lesson. So the first word we have is astroturf. Astroturf means a type of artificial grass surface used especially for sports. Next word is pole vault. A sport in which you use a long pole to swing over a high barrier. Next word is a bird's eye view. The bird's eye view means view of all the aspects of something. I hope you have noted them down, and I will write the next words on the board. The next word we have is hardcore. Hardcore. Hardcore means strong. Motto. Motto. Motto means a saying that expresses aims and beliefs of a person. The next word is regimented. The word regimented means strict and organized. Next word is obsession. Obsession means a state in which a person's mind is completely filled with the thought of one particular thing or person. A state in which a person's mind is filled with a thought of one particular thing. Yeah. So hardcore means strong. Motto means a saying that expresses aims and beliefs of a person. Regimented means strict and organized. Obsession means a state in which a person's mind is filled with a thought of one particular thing or person. We have few more words left behind, and we will write is oblivious. Oblivious means not aware of something, that is unaware. Ritual. Ritual means any customary observance or practice. Next is finger tipped. Finger tipped means the tip of finger touching the ground. The next one we have with us is envision. Envision means have a vision of somebody or something. Have a vision of somebody or something. So that is it for our glossary. Let us look, do we have further more words in the glossary, or is it enough? We have 3 more words. I will write it down for you, and you should remember these words so that it will enrich your vocabulary, and it will help you to understand the lesson more clearly, and further it will help you to answer the questions of the lesson that will be taken in the next class. Now, the next word we have is runway. Runway. Runway means running track. The next word is sprinting down. It means running very fast. Next is swarmed with. Surrounded by. So that's it for our today's class, and we will be answering the questions which are following the lesson in our next class. Till then, you practice these words and go through the lesson once again on your own, and goodbye.